Ethan had woken up suddenly in the middle of the night to the sound of footsteps moving around outside his bedroom. At first, he thought it was just his imagination, but when they didn't stop, he grabbed his phone and started filming in complete darkness to prove what he was hearing. This is what he captured.
Oh my god, guys. I don't know what the f going on. I just woke the up. There's like footsteps. Listen to this shit, can y'all hear it? What? Oh hell no, what the fuck was that, dog? Hold up. Alright, yo, I gotta check this shit out. What the hell? Nobody out here. Nobody out here, what the f? I gotta go get my mom. Oh, what the?
The video is almost pitch black, with only faint outlines visible, but the sound is unmistakable with slow, deliberate footsteps echoing just beyond his door. Then, something drops outside the room, a small clatter that makes Ethan jolt. He quickly turns the light on and steps out into the front yard, filming as he looks around. Nobody's there. The entire place is now empty and silent. Still recording, he turns back toward his room, clearly shaken. But as he walks in, the camera catches something horrifying. For a brief second, a completely blacked out face peeks around the edge of the doorway, watching him, before instantly pulling back out of sight. Ethan gasps, the phone shakes, and the clip ends there. It's one of those moments where even though the light is on, the darkness feels closer than ever. After hearing strange noises coming from his garage late at night, a man decided to grab his phone and start recording to see if he could figure out what was going on. The moment he walked in, something immediately seemed off. The attic door above was hanging open, even though he was certain it had been closed earlier that evening. Instinctively, he began to record.
Holy shit. What the? I heard a noise, and I came out here and this door was open and now it just shut by itself. Light. What the? Oh, I'm scared out of my freaking mind. Jesus Christ. There's nobody up here.
He points the camera up toward it, filming in silence for a few seconds before the attic door suddenly slams shut on its own. A loud thud echoes through the garage, followed by the unmistakable sound of scuttling footsteps moving across the ceiling, as if something, or someone, was scurrying around up there. Gathering his nerves, he slowly pulls the string to open it again. The light flickers on, casting a pale glow into the attic above. He climbs up the ladder, still filming, expecting to find an animal, or maybe even an intruder. But when he reaches the top, there's nothing. No movement, no sound, just an empty attic filled with dust and boxes. Whatever had just shut the door and ran across the ceiling had vanished without a trace. After the video started gaining attention online, some viewers decided to take a closer look at the footage from the attic scene. What they discovered made the entire situation far more unsettling. One fan brightened the video frame by frame to see if anything had been hiding in the shadows, and what appeared was chilling. Take a look.
What the hell is this shit? I did not see it. I had no freaking idea until y'all started screenshotting the shit. But I took the video and I brightened it up. So if you want to see it, here it is. I got this light on because the last time, I think it was when the freaking motion detected, I turned the freaking light on when after I went up there and looked. That's what some people were asking, why the light was on when the attic door rattled. That was why. And yeah, I know some of y'all are disappointed because I didn't have the freaking camera pointed right at the door. But the reason why I put the camera in the attic was because y'all said y'all saw something saw like a person up there, so I pointed the camera into the attic. You know what I mean? I didn't know that the door was gonna freaking rattle. I can't see the future, and I don't have a time machine to go back and point it at the freaking attic door. And people are saying, no, get a second camera. Okay, maybe I will. I don't know. But like, y'all need to chill. Who gives a fuck about the damn door, man? There's a freaking shadow figure, ghost, whatever, the fuck in my fucking attic.
On the far side of the attic, partially obscured by the dim lighting, a faint human-like figure can be seen standing perfectly still. Its body is dark and hazy, almost blending into the background, but the outline is unmistakable, and it looks like a person watching him from across the room. The man never reacted to it in real time, meaning he had no idea it was even there while filming. Many who've analyzed the footage believe it wasn't a person at all, but rather a full-bodied apparition caught by pure accident. Whatever was in that attic with him wasn't just making noise, but it was standing right there the entire time, ready to frighten its victim. Leandro had been hearing strange knocking sounds coming from one of the rooms in his house, so he decided to start recording to figure out what was causing it. The camera captures him, standing in the hallway, staring at the door as the knocking continues. What happens next is simply unexplainable, so have a watch.
Me acaban de cerrar la puerta en la cara, pero no llegué a grabarlo. Se escucha la puerta del baño. Se me acaban de reír en la cara. Mostrate. Yo ya no te tengo miedo, ¿vale? Reíte. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde carajo estás? ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Mostrate acá. Dale.
After a few seconds, the door suddenly creaks open on its own, the sound slow and eerie as it swings inward. Leandro steps closer. He cautiously walks inside, only for another door in the same room to also close with no visible force applied, followed by what sounds like a faint giggle, which is high-pitched and childlike. He freezes for a moment before opening that door, revealing a small, private bathroom. The shower curtain inside is gently swaying, moving as if someone had just brushed past it. Heart pounding, he walks over and yanks the curtain back, but there's no one there. When he turns around, the camera catches something even stranger. His large teddy bear sitting on the bed, its head now tilted downward as if watching him. In a follow-up post, Leandro explained that he believes the teddy was the source of the haunting and has since sold it, hoping whatever was attached to it left with it. Emily was out on a late-night food delivery shift when she came across something that left her completely shaken. She was delivering an order to a quiet suburban home, the kind of place that looked totally normal from the outside. Little did she know how much the interior contested this.
Hello?
Hello?
I have your DoorDash order.
Can you put it on the stool, please?
I'm not really supposed to come into houses.
It's just inside the door.
It doesn't really
not far.
matter how far it is. I'm not supposed to.
Please? It would make it easier for me.
It's just kind of... Can't you just come to the door? It's just kind of a safety hazard for me to come in the house.
No, I can't come to the door. Can you put it on the stool?
Okay,
It's easy, it's just inside.
I'll just leave it here. I'm not allowed to come inside, and I will not come inside.
Come on, you fucking bitch. It's not hard.
Yeah, no.
She sets the bag down by the front door and steps back to take a photo for proof of delivery when the door suddenly opens on its own. Confused, Emily calls out a polite hello, and to her shock, a voice from inside calmly replies with a hello back. She explains she has a DoorDash order for the homeowner, but the voice interrupts, telling her to put it on the stool just inside the doorway. Emily hesitates and refuses, saying she can't enter the house. The unseen woman insists again, her tone growing sharper, saying it makes it easier for her. Emily nervously repeats that she can't, but the voice suddenly snaps, calling her names and saying it's not that hard. At that point, Emily quickly places the bag down on the doorstep and hurries away from the house, visibly shaken. Later, she said that when she checked the app, the customer had already marked the order as delivered, yet no one was ever seen in the doorway. Comment what you think this mystery was caused by. In this next clip, a group of 3 friends, including someone named Kuma, were exploring their office late at night, which they believed to be haunted, when something strange started happening on camera. They were casually walking down the stairs, talking quietly, when one of them noticed something floating in front of them, and it was very weird.
It all started when we talked about paranormal beings. We decided to follow it.
Here. Bear, explain this, man. It was in the rafters. On the other side of the building.
Bro, it just
The
turned a
fact that
fucking
it says
corner.
miss you forever too, and it came out of nowhere.
It then started to follow
Because we
us
were
after
walking-
we
I
cut
was
it
literally,
off.
the entire time
I'm gonna need that video from you.
looking at the stop coming over here. Literally looking
I'm
at the
not
ceiling.
kidding.
I was staring at the ceiling
And
the whole
nothing was
time
there. No
because it's a
balloons, no
cool
nothing.
ceiling.
Like, because it's got the orb, the whole.
Yeah, it's
back
got
up,
the
back up, back up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing.
I just need going from a 2 shower to 1 shower.
Whoa. You guys see the force on that?
Yeah, it's fucking troll.
At first, it looked like dust, or maybe a piece of fabric caught in the air, but as they kept filming, it became clear this wasn't moving naturally at all. The faint shape began to drift upward, slowly twisting and floating in circles as if it had a mind of its own. There was no wind source anywhere, with no open windows, no fans, nothing that could have caused that kind of motion. The 3 friends watched in stunned silence before deciding to follow it further down the stairs, hoping to figure out what it was. Whatever it was seemed almost aware of them, changing direction just slightly each time they got close. This was only the beginning of what they caught that night, making it an easy setup for what's coming next. After following the strange floating shape for several minutes, the group eventually lost sight of it somewhere near the lower floor of the building. They started to think maybe it had drifted out of view, or that the moment was over, until something even weirder happened.
Are you gonna come join us, or are you gonna go downstairs?
gonna fucking flip my shit.
As Kuma panned the camera toward the barrier that led downstairs, a new white wisp suddenly appeared, gliding across the far end of the room with a smooth, eerie motion. It wasn't fast or random, and it moved like it was deliberately crossing their path. The group fell silent again, realizing whatever they were seeing wasn't just a trick of the light. Then, as Kuma turned the camera back toward the staircase, the same balloon they had been following earlier was now floating upward again, slowly rising toward them from below. It was as if it had come back on its own, perfectly timed with the other apparition's movement. What started as simple curiosity had turned into something much more unsettling that none of them could explain. For anyone new here, this is Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, who's been exploring what's known as one of the most paranormally active sites he's ever visited, the abandoned factory. In this video, filmed at the same location as his previous investigations on this channel, Ian is exploring to see what his camera can capture. Little did he know it would be something so bizarre.
Looks like on the inside, you can still see like all the different remnants from when this place was just a factory. It's like a factory of horrors. Whoa. Oh my God. I heard a noise over there, and of course, it's got to be nearby all the scary mannequins. Oh God. Looks like a congregation over there. Like a cult gathering. Did someone just make a noise over here? I swear to God, I just heard you. Man, if one of these frickin' things moves, I'm done. I'm out of here. Oh wow, they even got Wizard of Oz theme over there. If there's anyone over here, could you? What the hell was that? It sounded like something moved over here. Did you just move one of these mannequins? Could you move one right now? Any one of these. No. Oh. Dude! That thing just freaking started rocking! Oh, no.
As he walks through the dark, echoing hallways, he describes the place as a factory of horrors, the kind of building that feels wrong the moment you step inside. Eventually, he enters one of the strangest rooms yet, a large space filled with mannequins standing in rows, like some kind of forgotten display or a prop cult frozen in time. The camera captures the unsettling silence as Ian scans the room, when suddenly a loud metallic clang breaks through from somewhere nearby. He jumps slightly, turning toward the noise, but nothing moves. Then, faint scuttling sounds begin, like something shifting just out of sight between the mannequins. Ian steadies the camera, calling out to whatever might be there, even asking it to move one of them if it can hear him. A few seconds pass before one of the mannequins starts rocking gently, as if something had brushed against it. Ian whispers in disbelief, realizing this wasn't the wind or vibrations, it was a direct response. Subscribe if you want to see what happens when he comes back to the channel for the next part of this terrifying investigation. Ever since he was young, Marcus had been fascinated with the underground. He loved the stillness, the echoes, and the sense of mystery that came with exploring places most people would never see. Over the years, He had taken up caving as a hobby, often bringing his loyal dog along for company. On this particular day, he decided to explore a cave system he hadn't visited before, curious to see what secrets it might hold. With only his headlamp and his dog's eager excitement to guide the way, they ventured deep inside.
Out. Come here. Come on. Come on. Go. Misty. What do you think about this, Misty? Keep looking. Stay behind me. What the fuck is that? Oh shit. Go. Come on, Misty. Come on, Misty.
The footage shows them carefully making their way through narrow passages until they eventually reach a dead end, where dozens of bats hang above, prompting Marcus to turn around. After walking back for only a short time, the beam of his light catches something ahead, a tall, human-like figure standing in the darkness. It was far too unnatural in movement and presence to be anything ordinary. Without a second thought, Marcus grabs his dog and bolts for the exit. the sound of his hurried footsteps echoing through the cave as they escape into daylight. Even now, he says he can't explain what he saw, and maybe he doesn't want to. Dre and his friend had been hanging out one evening when a series of strange noises started coming from the attic. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it might just be the wind or an old house creaking, but the sounds kept happening, louder each time. After a bit of debating, they decided to check it out for themselves. Climbing up into the dim attic, they were hit with an instant feeling of unease, like they were being watched. The air felt heavier, and both of them agreed it didn't feel right.
Alright, wait a minute, I gotta turn this thing on here. Recorder's on.
Alright, we got the cripple.
Yeah, I'm the cripple. I'm the EVP director.
The EVP specialist. And, let's see if I can do this. Got myself, Dre. And we're up here because we heard some noises earlier. And we're trying to figure out if we can catch a little bit more. Or try to piss this thing off enough to let us know that it's here.
I heard you up here last night. Make a noise. I kept on hearing stuff in the back of the attic on the back there on the right, like it was something hiding back there. I got it on the recorder, like all these little bangs and scratching noises. And just for the record, there's no wildlife up here. What's your name? Stop hiding and show yourself.
Give us a sign. What the hell was that?
Did you see something?
We just got something on video.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, what was that? Hang on, we gotta stop this.
What did it look like?
In the footage, the camera pans across the far end of the attic just in time to catch a sudden movement in the shadows. Nobody else was in the house, and no one could have been hiding there without them seeing. The encounter left them certain they had just come face to face with a ghost. Mykolenko is one of those rare ghost hunters whose reputation speaks for itself. Known for his sharp instincts, unshakable composure, and years of experience investigating some of the most infamous haunted locations, he's built a name for himself as the guy who gets results. Clients trust him because he doesn't just chase shadows, he documents them with undeniable clarity. So when he was offered $500 to prove a paranormal presence in a suburban home that had been giving its owners sleepless nights, he didn't hesitate. In the footage, Mykolenko is standing well across the room, far from the old wooden cabinet in question. Without warning, the cabinet begins to shake violently, sending several objects crashing to the floor. The angle is perfect, clear, steady, and without any sign of wires or tampering. The homeowners were convinced on the spot, and true to his word, Mykolenko delivered the proof and walked away with the full $500 in hand. If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. Mykolenko will be appearing in future videos, and you don't want to miss what he uncovers next. A man was relaxing in his bedroom late at night when a sudden aggressive rattling of a nearby door jolted him upright. At first, he thought it might be the wind, or maybe someone else in the house, but the sound was too intense and frantic to be either. Grabbing his camera, he stepped cautiously out of bed, his breathing already quickening as he edged closer to the source. The footage shows him standing right next to the door as the handle shakes violently on its own. Without warning, the door swings open and then closes again, all while the handle continues to tremble as if being gripped by invisible hands. His loud, panicked breathing fills the audio, making the moment even more unsettling. After the incident, he admitted he didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, he began researching and reaching out to local paranormal hunters, determined to bring in someone experienced who could explain or confront whatever was in his home. Valentina was at the hospital late one evening, sitting in the hallway while her father was being treated. She had no idea that at this exact point in time, her father had already passed away. She was scrolling through her phone, trying to distract herself from the stress, when something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye.
No. Ay, no puede ser. No, mira. Es una fantasma acá, loco. No te puedo creer, la puta madre. Ay, no, lo que le parió. No.
The wheelchair her father regularly used began to roll forward completely on its own, moving smoothly across the corridor without anyone near it. Valentina froze, her fear mixing with confusion as she stared at the empty seat. Later, a nurse informed her that her father's heart had stopped just 2 minutes before the wheelchair had moved. The timing left her shaken, wondering if this was her father's way of saying goodbye. Marcos had just returned home from a long shift at work and was winding down for the night, watching TV in her room. It was quiet, the kind of stillness that usually meant nothing out of the ordinary would happen. But then she heard it, a distinct thud from just outside her bedroom door, like something heavy had fallen. At first, she thought she imagined it, but the sound was too real to ignore. Curious and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and started recording before going to check. She slowly opened her bedroom door and immediately spotted an object lying on the floor in the hallway, something that definitely hadn't been there before. As she processed what she was seeing, a chair further down the hall suddenly slid across the floor directly toward her, stopping just a few feet away. Marcos backed up quickly, her breathing picking up as fear set in. Later, she admitted she didn't sleep in her room that night, and was now considering having a paranormal investigator come to see what she might be dealing with. Fabian was sitting in his room watching TV when he heard the familiar sound of his dad's car pulling into the driveway. He quickly turned his head toward the window, trying to catch a glimpse of him arriving. While Fabian's attention was fixed outside, the doll on his bed shifted suddenly, moving in a way that was far from natural. Fabian had no idea. He only turned back a moment later and hurried out of the room to greet his dad. Later, his mum reviewed the security footage from his room and was left stunned by what she saw. The doll had been perfectly still before, and there was no one near it when it moved. The unsettling discovery has her seriously considering moving out before whatever caused it decides to do more. Late at night in Mexico, a family was winding down when one of them claimed to see something strange moving outside from their bedroom window. They described it as a white cloak drifting through the street. So the father decided to head downstairs and step outside to record whatever it was.
Ya, loco, graba. Míralo ahí, loco, míralo ahí. ¿Y qué? ¿Qué está haciendo? Yo te dije, loco, se parece a Martín, loco, el que murió. Cierra la puerta. Cierra la puerta. Llama a papi. Papi, ven que aquí hay una cosa rara, yo no sé qué es. Mira, llámalo, ve. Cierra la puerta. Ay, Dios mío. Mira. Ay, Dios. Llama a papi.
In the footage, a white bedsheet-like shape can be seen floating and twisting through the air, moving in a way that didn't match any breeze. It glided across the road, almost deliberately, before disappearing into the deep shadows beside another house. The family was left unsettled, unsure if it was some elaborate prank or something far stranger. Neighbors have since been warned, but the mystery remains unsolved. Anderson, a member of the US Air Force, had been away from home for some time and was counting down the days until he could reunite with his wife. Late one night, he sent her a purple snap, telling her he'd be home just in time to help prepare for Halloween. His tone carried a tired weight to it, as if the long days and quiet nights were beginning to wear him down. Not long after, he paused mid-recording, and the reason why is shocking.
This literally gave me the chills after sending my wife a Snapchat.
At least I'll be home, and so we can prepare for Halloween. But yeah, there's that. Anyway, I just had to check the email real quick. I'll be home in a sec, but I love you crazy.
He left the camera and got up to check, but when he passed the doorframe, there was nothing waiting for him. No footsteps, no figures, nothing out of place. However, viewers watching closely noticed something he didn't. Just above the doorframe, a small shadow seemed to move on its own. It was subtle, almost too quick to catch, but it drifted in a way that looked undeniably ghostly. Anderson never mentioned it himself, likely unaware of what had been captured, but the comments quickly filled with people insisting he wasn't as alone as he thought. For a man who already seemed worn down, this haunting detail made his night even heavier. The following evening, Anderson sent his wife another snap, trying to keep their usual rhythm of communication despite the distance. He told her he hoped to be home before 4:30, his voice a little lighter than before, though the isolation still lingered in his tone. As he spoke, something unexpected happened.
This literally gave me the chills after sending my wife a Snapchat.
But I should be getting out of here a little bit before 4:30, hopefully. Then we can go do something. That ain't it. think it's lunchtime. I'm actually... I need a... Oh my cat. I'm going to lunch though.
The mug sitting beside him on the table shifted slightly, sliding in a way that no vibration or small movement could explain. This time, Anderson noticed it. His demeanor changed instantly, and he stopped mid-sentence, eyes locked on the cup, like he wasn't sure whether to believe what he'd just seen. Determined to show it wasn't some trick, he shut down his computer and lifted the mug to the camera and turned it to prove there were no wires, no strings, nothing attached. For a man trained to keep composure under stress, the unease in his voice was clear as he quickly wrapped up the recording. The video ends with him saying little more, just cutting it short and leaving the room as though he didn't want to spend another second there. It left viewers convinced the quiet space around him wasn't so empty after all. The CCTV camera in the kitchen was meant to keep an eye on the pets overnight, but what it recorded instead left the owners unsettled. The footage begins just before midnight when the family's cat casually wanders into the room, padding its way toward the kitchen table.
Watch the cat. After he walks in, a shadow figure follows.
The animal crouches slightly and slips halfway underneath the table, like it's noticed something strange. Just seconds later, a faint, misty shadow, shaped almost like a human form, drifts across the room, following behind the cat's movements. The figure is translucent, easy to miss at first glance, but once noticed, it becomes the only thing your eyes can focus on. The cat doesn't react in any way. The clip ends without further incident, but the unsettling image of that misty silhouette trailing the animal has left people wondering. Was it a protective spirit, a curious presence, or something darker just passing through? Whatever the case, it wasn't the kind of midnight visitor anyone would want in their home. Just a few days later, on March the 23rd, the house cameras caught something that pushed the family even closer to leaving. Unlike the previous event, this didn't happen at night, but at 11 in the morning when the sun was out and nobody was home.
This was such a great piece of evidence.
In the living room, a cabinet door slowly creaked open all on its own. After sitting ajar for a few seconds, a book suddenly dropped out from inside and landed flat on the floor, as though it had been pushed. The door never shut again, instead hanging halfway open as if to prove it wasn't just a latch slipping. The stillness of the house made the moment even creepier, since there was no one around to interact with it. When the family came back and reviewed the footage, they admitted it was the clearest sign yet that something in the home was not normal. The discussion of moving out has grown serious, and friends say they've already started looking at other houses, unwilling to keep living where the activity keeps escalating. The man who was unfortunate enough to be behind the camera sounded nervous from the very start, his voice unsteady as he explained why he was recording. He says he wants a witness because too many people have been telling him the place isn't haunted, but he insists it is, claiming he once saw the figure of a little girl standing right in front of the dollhouse in the room.
Yeah, man, I'm recording this video because I need you guys to be my witness. These fucking people told me that this place was haunted. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not haunted. There ain't no such thing. And my dumb asses, I've been hearing shit off. Man, I'm out of my. Last time I seen the little girl, she was over there behind that little dollhouse, man. You guys gotta come with me and check this shit out. I'm fucking scared as shit. You guys gotta be my witnesses. dude. Get out of my man. Shit. There's nothing back there. Fucking man. I don't know why I agreed to do this shit. Creepy ass doll. Look at that shit. Fucking weird ass people. Dude, I'm scared as hell, man. Fucking scared as shit. Holy shit.
His breathing grows heavier as he inches closer to the dollhouse, filming every corner of the space as if bracing himself for what might appear. He even crouches down and peers behind it, but there's nothing there, just silence and his deep breathing. Relieved for a moment, he turns back toward the lamp in the corner, only for the real terror to strike. From behind a nearby cabinet, a pale figure with long, dark hair begins to emerge, drifting slowly into view. Before he can properly react, the clip cuts, leaving only the sound of his immediate reaction. The sudden ending makes it unclear what happened next, but the haunting image of that figure has left him more than frightened. Sergio had always been drawn to forgotten and ruined places, and this particular spot was nothing but rubble and bare cement walls, the kind of location most people would avoid at night. He set up a single large light to cut through the darkness of the tunnel he was exploring, the glow bouncing off cracked concrete and piles of debris. For a while, nothing unusual happened, just the stillness and his footsteps echoing softly.
Y el sótano, cómo se ve el humo. Tenemos poca densidad de aire aquí, el humo no se mueve fácilmente. Estamos en el sótano del solar. ¿Eso qué es? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¡Ey! Algo acaba de pasar por ahí. No logro ver bien. ¿Quién está ahí? ¡Ey! ¿Sí vieron? Algo pasa por ahí. ¿Quién está ahí?
Suddenly, a loud bang carried down the tunnel, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. His camera panned toward the source just in time to capture something unnerving. A shadow drifting sideways across the tunnel, gliding smoothly as if it belonged to no physical form. Sergio steadied his breath and listened, but the silence didn't last long. More noises echoed from deeper inside, scraping and shifting, as though something heavy was moving unseen. Then, almost on cue, the same shadow drifted back in the opposite direction, vanishing into the darkness like it had never been there at all. The eerie repetition and the unnatural way it moved left Sergio visibly shaken, and it was clear the longer he stayed, the more dangerous the encounter might become. Luna was standing outside an abandoned facility, recording a place that had always been known to be infected with phantoms. It was a place of nightmares, and nobody in their right mind would go there. Fortunately for us, Luna is insane. Can you see what happened?
Porque, pues obviamente mencionan de ver a esta señora caminando, sobre todo al caer la noche. Es por eso que ya los empleados no quieren venir a este lugar a esta hora. Está completamente solo el lugar. Nos dieron el permiso, nos dieron el acceso justamente para buscar la evidencia de este ser fantasmal que dicen que todavía habita en este lugar. Ahorita vamos a ingresar ahí dentro para que ustedes puedan ver, pero sí me gustaría, pues me gustaría pedir la presencia. Es algo que he estado haciendo últimamente, pedir la presencia de este ser, de los seres que ya no están en este mundo, que ya están en el más allá y que de alguna forma, estoy escuchando ruidos allá adentro, Meli, estoy escuchando ruidos ahí, a ver si logramos ver algo.
Through the bars, the dark interior came into view, and for a brief moment a shadow could be seen gliding across the room inside. It didn't resemble a trick of the light or a passing reflection. It had form, movement, and purpose. Luna kept the camera steady, clearly unsure of what she had just caught, and when reviewing the footage, it became even more unsettling. Something had been inside with her watching from only a few feet away, yet she never saw it at the time. The sighting sparked heavy debate online, with many agreeing that this was proof the facility wasn't empty after all. Subscribe because her adventure will continue into future videos. Donnie has been sharing clips from his home for some time now, showing viewers the strange activity that seems to follow him around. In earlier videos, he caught his lights swinging and objects moving on their own, leaving him convinced something had attached itself to the house.
The shit. Oh, what the? Off. Off. Who's here? Who's here? Me. Did you see that? That should not be good. Who's going up my stairs? Hey buddy, you okay? Who's here? Are you okay? Are you okay? Holy sh... This has got to stop. Two swinging lights. I don't know what the you can't be here. You have to go. I didn't tell you to come here. So I'm the only one here. Ever since this is getting way too wild. You have to go, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. That'll be done on earth as it is in heaven. You okay, buddy? You okay? You come with Daddy. You okay? Who's here? Are you okay, buddy? You come with me. You stick with Daddy. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Are you coming? I don't want you at the top of the stairs. You come. Come on. This is your playroom. This is our playroom. Don't be scared.
Come on, buddy. This is your basement. This is me in your basement. Come on. Terry, you don't gotta be scared. You come with me. Come on. You think something's down here? Come on. Come with Daddy. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You don't have to be scared. You come with me. What, someone up there? You okay? What's that look for? You look... Are you scared, buddy? You don't have to be scared. You're a good boy. You don't have to be scared. I'll pick you up. You want me to pick you up? Come here. You want to come? I'll protect you. Okay. This is his basement. You don't have, I've never seen, why aren't you coming? Hey? You don't have to be scared. You're with me. It's holy water. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. What the is it? Thy will be done on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. This is the stair. Holy fire. Forgive. You cannot stay here. You are not welcome. I did not invite you. Are you okay? You don't have to be scared. You stick with me, okay? What did you see? Did you see something? Holy shit. Did I not just close that? No, I left that open. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That's... You gotta go. You were not invited here. You're not wanted here. Okay, I got you set up. You're pointing towards that. All right. The top of this scare case is where I thought I saw a shadow. And that was moving like that. I'm gonna leave this run.
In this latest video, Donnie is downstairs, recording as one of his lamps continues to shake uncontrollably. He runs toward the stairs, only to find that another light upstairs is swinging too, as if unseen hands were pushing it. Donnie raises his voice, telling the ghost it has to leave, reminding the audience that he's the only one there. When he turns back, one set of cupboards is wide open, and as he shuts them, he mutters holy phrases over and over. The camera shows how uneasy the atmosphere feels as Donnie heads down into the basement, still reciting religious phrases. He's clearly desperate to fight back against whatever is in his home. This story isn't over yet, so subscribe to my channel to see the continuation. A man's wife had just left for work, leaving him home alone for the day. At first, everything seemed normal. He enjoyed the quiet, scrolled on his phone, and went about his morning without a second thought. But after a few hours, the atmosphere shifted, and something happened that shook him to the core.
Alright. I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm home alone. There's nobody here. Whoa, whoa, okay.
From the bathroom door came a series of knocks, clear and deliberate. He grabbed his camera and began filming, his voice uneasy as he explained the situation to the audience. To test it, he knocked 3 times back against the door. What followed stunned him. The exact same 3 knocks echoed back from the other side. Gathering what little courage he had, he slowly opened the door and stepped inside, only to find nothing at all. The bathroom was empty, silent and still, yet the feeling that he wasn't alone lingered heavily in the air. Dean was working his usual night shift as a security guard at the mall, a job that often left him with long stretches of silence and empty hallways. He never minded the quiet until strange things began to happen after dark. At first, it was small things such as distant creaks and the sound of something faintly tapping, but soon the noises grew harder to ignore. Determined to prove he wasn't imagining it, Dean pulled out his phone and began recording.
Let them know where I'm at. Dude, like, I'm so on edge now. So freaking on edge. Creepy, man. You're so freaking creepy. I don't know. Dude, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the heck? These freaking chairs just moved. What the sh... Okay. I'm done. Nope.
The footage starts with him walking through a corridor when a loud dragging sound echoes nearby. The unmistakable noise of something heavy like a table being pulled across the floor. He quickly pans around, but nothing looks out of place. Just as he tries to calm himself, a chair in front of him suddenly slides forward. Then again, moving twice on its own with no one near it, Dean's breathing grows heavier, and the fear takes over. Without waiting to see what might happen next, he bolts from the area, his footsteps pounding as the clip ends. A ghost hunter with a very small subscriber count decided to explore an old castle said to hold dark history, hoping to capture something that would finally prove to his audience that the stories were real. From the very start of his recording, the tension was there from the sheer atmosphere of the place.
First of all, watch the outside window. There seemed to be a face peering in. But watch as I turn the camera, there's a figure by the wall.
In that very first pan, a faint face could be seen in one of the windows, almost too uncanny to be human. The clip then cuts to another pan from a different angle, and again, another faint figure could be seen inside the castle, as if it was watching him move around the grounds. The hunter was frightened at the time. Fortunately though, he pressed on, determined to keep filming. This isn't the end of his investigation, and the story inside the castle is only just beginning. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the continuation of this story in one of my next videos. Kokoko, a channel known for exploring eerie, abandoned places, recently uploaded footage from an abandoned hotel that had been empty for several years. The building itself was in total disarray, with debris scattered across the floors and walls crumbling from neglect.
開けたり足音だったりなんかどかしたり普通に誰かとバッティングしてる可能性はあるんでまあバッティングだったらまだいいけどもしちょっと出くわしたらこんにちはって感じで笑顔でガラスとかめちゃめちゃあるんでうわどうなってんですか迷路だな本当に入り組んでますよ、長年手つかずだったところが去年の秋に解体が始まって、去年の2018年の秋頃に、違う6月か6月に始まって去年の2018年の秋頃に、でそれがピタッと止まった、ピタッと止まっちゃったんだよね。これから8階に帰ります。あ、屋上か屋上か。
As the group made their way toward the rooftop on the 8th floor, the camera happened to catch something unsettling. In the frame, a shadowy figure could be seen standing in a doorway, though none of the explorers noticed it in the moment. It was only after the video was uploaded that viewers began pointing it out, confirming that the figure had been captured on film. The team didn't react at the time, but the discovery has left everyone shaken since. This moment is just one part of the investigation, and I promise that this video is going to be revisited and covered more in future uploads on my channel. Octavio was home alone when her dogs suddenly started barking non-stop, their attention fixed on something downstairs. Curious and a little uneasy, she went to check and was stunned to see a pair of red gates she kept inside her home moving in a mysterious way on their own. Wanting proof, she set her camera up on a table and caught the unsettling moment on video.
¿Qué pido?
The gates swung back and forth without anyone near them, leaving no explanation for the movement. Octavio admitted afterward that the experience left her shaken, and now she's looking for a ghost hunter to help get rid of whatever is haunting her home. I wish them all of the luck I can possibly give on banishing the spirit, because nobody deserves to live with something like that. Ragalzu has appeared before on this channel when he returned to the school he once attended and caught terrifying proof that it was haunted. But this clip that I am about to expose your eyes to is different, because it didn't happen at the school, but it actually happened in his own home. After leaving that place behind, Ragalzu always feared the ghost might have followed him, and one night he decided to record in his bedroom just to be sure.
¿Qué quieren que vea? No, miedo no tengo. Siguen aquí. Siguen aquí. Me acaban de abrir el carro.
The footage shows his wardrobe door creaking open at a decent pace, even though he was alone in the room. Just seconds later, the bedroom door slams shut violently, as if something wanted him trapped inside. Finally, an object falls on its own, and then a shadow can be seen peeking out from behind his chair. For anyone who doubts what he caught before, this video adds a chilling layer, proving that the haunting may have followed him home. Ragalzu's story didn't end with his bedroom doors moving on their own though. Just a few nights later, while he was asleep, strange noises woke him up again, and this time, they were way more mysterious. At first, he tried to ignore them, but they grew louder until he decided to get out of bed and investigate.
¿Cuál es esta habitación? Sí. ¿Macumba dijeron? ¿Puedes volver a cerrar la puerta? Se desenfocó la cámara. Ya estoy aquí adentro. Ahí. Mira. Salgan. No, no, déjame cambiar la cámara, quiero ver aquí. La vez pasada se vio una cara detrás mío, quiero ver si vuelve a aparecer. Tómalo. Uy, acá dónde. Miren, ahí está.
As he left his room, one of the nearby doors suddenly slammed shut with no one else around. He cautiously pushed it open and stepped inside. But once he was deep in the room, the door closed behind him on its own, trapping him for a moment. Eventually, he plucked up the courage to approach the door to leave, shaken and unsure what he had just experienced. The footage ends there, and with no further updates since then, it's clear this may not be the end of Ragalzu's haunting. Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent years traveling to some of the creepiest abandoned places across the Midwest, sharing his solo investigations with those brave enough to follow his adventures. In this continuation of his exploration of the old abandoned theater, Ian found himself lingering near the main staircase after a series of strange encounters earlier in the night.
Okay, I'm hearing weird noises up there. It sounds like there's somebody up there. What the hell was that? God, guys, it literally sounds like she's coming down these stairs. I smell perfume. What the heck? I smell perfume. And it's starting to feel colder in here, too. Ma'am, you don't have to be shy. Feel free to come down and talk to me. Madam, what's your name? Oh my God. I heard that. That was a lady's voice. Thank you, ma'am. I heard you loud and clear.
As he stood there, he began to hear odd noises coming from upstairs, so he raised his camera and snapped a few pictures into the dark. That's when the atmosphere shifted. Disembodied footsteps echoed, coming down the stairs toward him, though nobody was visible. The air grew noticeably colder, and a faint scent of perfume surrounded him, as if someone had just walked past. Then, clear as day, a woman's voice whispered the name Mabel. The theater's history is full of mysteries, but Ian had never encountered anything this direct before. This specific clip ended there, but Ian was rattled, however, still determined to press on. Subscribe, because this story is far from finished, and Ian's next video will continue to uncover what haunts this theater. Tasha was filming casually around her living room, showing her viewers the cozy space she'd recently purchased. The clip begins calmly, the camera panning across the room with warm lighting before she starts walking toward the door that separates the living room from the hallway.
See, and you think I'm crazy. The first time I'm here by myself, there's a picture on the floor, and it just...
She points out the picture that fell on the floor, and then, Just as she's about to turn the camera away, the translucent glass door in front of her creaks open slightly on its own, holding there for a few seconds before slamming shut with force. The sound echoes through the room, startling her so badly that she gasps and immediately runs for her life. This is when the clip cuts off entirely. She later said she was completely alone in the house at the time and hadn't experienced anything like it before. Whatever caused that door to move had to have been something unseen, something powerful enough to make her run without looking back. In her follow-up video, Tasha responds to a comment that reads, "I feel like there's a hole in the wall. That's where it's coming from." Wanting to prove there was no hidden space or trick behind what happened, she took her camera to the kitchen and began showing every corner in detail. She moved the lens slowly across the walls, the counters, and the door frames, tapping at the drywall to show it was solid. There were no cracks, no holes, nothing even close to what some people suggested could be behind the strange movement of the door. She even opened a few cabinets to show that they didn't connect anywhere, and that the area behind the wall was just insulation and wood. After the video ended, she swore it happened again. The door slammed. But that's for you to decide whether you believe it or not. A few days after Tasha's eerie encounters, she finally decided to call in investigators to get some real answers. 2 men arrived at her home and spent several hours there, scanning each room with their equipment, asking questions, and trying to make contact with whatever was inside.
I would like to speak to us. Can you say hi? Hi. Hi.
Well, hi.
Hi.
So we're gonna go another room.
Hi.
Hi. Wow.
I'd like to knock books over. Can you say hi? Mommy. Mommy.
Are you trying to find your mommy?
Are you looking for mommy? Yes.
Yes. I am nowhere even near it. And it's going off like crazy.
Yeah, it's...
So,
I definitely feel something else. Whoa, look at the EMF.
Yeah.
In the hall? In the hall.
Okay.
Well, that is where my dog gets scared.
Right.
So,
We're going to the hall. So here.
You wanted us to come to the hall? Want to say hi? What the heck?
Was that you?
Greg, is that you? That, as you could tell. Was that you, Greg?
As one of them asked the spirit to say something if it was present, a small, childlike voice could be heard from nowhere, saying the word, "Mommy." The men froze for a moment before one asked gently, "Are you looking for your mommy?" And again, the same soft voice replied, "Yes." It was clear and distinct enough to be caught on their recorders. Following the faint responses, they slowly moved toward the hallway, where one of the investigators said he felt a sudden chill. Seconds later, a framed photo resting on a counter tipped forward and fell. That was enough for them. They confirmed the presence of a spirit and told Tasha they'd be back soon to perform a cleansing to help the lost voice finally move on. Subscribe because I'll include that in another video if they post it. The video starts mid-chaos, the camera shaky, as a man and woman both sound audibly distressed. The focus quickly lands on a closet door in front of them, as it's rattling violently, the door shaking aggressively as if something is trapped inside trying to get out. The woman can be heard saying that the doors are brand new, installed only a week ago, making the whole thing even more unnerving.
Honey, what is that?
Oh
Hey
my
guys,
God.
oh my god,
Okay,
oh my
okay.
god, oh my god.
I'm gonna go look.
These are the new closet doors, guys. The new closet doors that we just installed. Oh my god, okay. Nothing. Nothing in the closet. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Be careful.
Okay, no.
Okay, so clearly installing these doors. As you guys can see, we're still dealing with whatever is in our bedroom closet. I don't know, but freaked right out. Look at the dog. She's like, what the hell?
The man slowly approaches, trying to calm both of them down as the shaking continues, then grips the door and pulls it wider. The moment he does, everything stops. The door swings wide to reveal nothing but neatly hung clothes and shelves, completely untouched. To be sure, he even steps to the other side and checks behind it, but there's still nothing there. The clip cuts shortly after, the atmosphere thick with fear and confusion, and I'm asking you guys what you think the couple should do next, so let me know in the comments. A mother and her daughter had taken their night vision camera out late one evening, hoping to film the quiet countryside near their home. What they caught instead has left them, and everyone who's seen it, deeply unsettled.
Okay. Don't move in there. No, there's a motorcycle. Okay.
I don't see nothing down there. Can't be the motorcycles, honey. There's another sparkle. You see what I'm saying?
What is that?
Tree.
No. You moved it, right? Right there. See?
Uh-huh.
Look.
There's nobody there. Where? I can't see.
Look. Isn't it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody
Not up in the
there.
trees.
There's nobody down there no more. See?
As they scanned across a wide, open field, faint movement could be seen in the distance. The shapes weren't solid or human. They drifted across the grass like translucent figures made of mist, slow and deliberate, almost aware they were being watched. The mother and daughter were whispering between themselves, their voices trembling as they tried to focus the camera. The air was completely still, no fog, no wind, yet these forms moved as if they had purpose, gliding from one side of the field to the other before fading away completely. After the clip ends, she explains that the land once belonged to an old farmhouse that burned down decades ago, taking with it the family who lived there. Many now believe what they saw that night were the lingering spirits of those who never left the field where their home once stood. Caitlin had been trying to fall asleep when the first noise startled her awake. It was the unmistakable sound of a door opening and slamming somewhere in her house. Groggy but tense, she grabbed her phone and started recording, determined to catch whatever was happening. As she walked downstairs, the noises continued, echoing through the hallway like heavy footsteps, or doors being forced shut over and over again. The occasional dragging sound echoed too. She called out softly, but no one answered. The moment she reached the bottom of the stairs, a loud thud echoed from deeper inside the house, startling her enough to sprint back upstairs to her room. Breathing heavily, she shut the door behind her and then jumped into bed, where she could get some level of comfort. The sounds seemed to follow, faint, slow, and deliberate, growing closer until they stopped just outside her room. Then, silence. The clip cuts there, leaving only the tension of what might come next. Caitlin has since admitted she's been trying to find ways to solve her problem, whether through spiritual cleansing or getting someone to investigate her house. But for now, she's just hoping the noises don't return. The next video picks up just a day after the last one, and Caitlin's horrors have far from stopped. She's in bed again, her phone recording from the covers, the only light coming from her bedside lamp. The sound of footsteps begins really loudly as slow, deliberate stomps echo up the staircase. Each one gets heavier, closer, until they stop right outside her door. There's a long pause, just the sound of her shaky breathing. Then the handle on her bedroom door starts to rattle violently, as if someone is trying to force their way in. The handle suddenly stops, and for a few seconds, everything is silent. Then, the door creaks open slowly on its own, revealing an empty hallway. Before she can even react, it slams shut again with a force that shakes the camera. The video cuts abruptly after that moment, and Caitlin later explains that she's been looking into how to sell the house altogether, saying she doesn't care what it takes, she just wants out before things get any worse. Jackson had been home alone for most of the evening when a series of rhythmic bangs started echoing from downstairs. At first, he ignored them, thinking it might just be the pipes or the wind outside. But the knocks were too deliberate and evenly spaced, and always coming from the same direction. He grabbed his phone and began recording as he made his way down the staircase, each step creaking beneath him while the knocking continued from the storage room at the back of the house. When he reached the door, the sound stopped. He hesitated for a moment, then slowly turned the handle and pushed it open. The room was still, and nothing looked out of place. Cautiously, he stepped inside, scanning every corner, just as he whispered to himself that it must have been nothing. A miscellaneous box shifted, sliding forward ever so slightly on its own. Jackson froze, breathing hard, before backing out of the room without saying a word. The clip ends there, leaving viewers convinced whatever's inside that storage room isn't done trying to make itself known. In 2011, a man named Henning was relaxing in his living room when he began hearing some strange cluttering sounds. At first, he brushed it off, assuming it was the house settling or something outside, but the noises persisted long enough to get under his skin. Finally, he grabbed his phone and went to investigate.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Following the sound, he discovered it was coming from one of the doors inside his home. The knob was shaking on its own, rattling as if someone was desperately trying to get in or out. Gathering his courage, Henning reached out, pulled the door open, and revealed absolutely nothing on the other side. For a moment, he just stood there, baffled and uneasy, but before he could process it further, the door suddenly slammed shut right in front of him, nearly knocking the phone from his hand. The clip ends with him stunned, standing in disbelief, realizing he may not have been as alone in his home as he thought. Mike the runner decided he was going to visit an abandoned elementary school after hearing local rumors about how haunted it was. Even though he'd never really bought into paranormal stories, the curiosity of exploring a forgotten place pushed him to go anyway. With his camera in hand, he walked through the halls, surrounded by peeling paint, graffiti, and unsettling silence. His lens panned over drawings on the floor that looked like they had been left behind by children decades ago, adding an eerie layer to the atmosphere. However, it wasn't that which caused the real fear. It was something caught on camera at the end. While walking, he could swear he was hearing footsteps behind him, and eventually, he caught the probable cause on camera. It was a large and uncanny creature that caused him to bolt out of the facility, so comment what you think it was. A man decided to start documenting the strange things happening around his home after weeks of hearing noises he couldn't explain. At first, it seemed small, but then the activity grew, and finally, one night, he managed to capture a series of events that left him shaken.
Man, this. The f is that? What the f is that? Some in the water in a what? The f is that? Man, there's some in my house. Get the f out. The f is that? Oh, that, I'm out. I'm out.
The footage begins with flashing lights in not just one, but two different rooms at the same time, pulsing in a way that looks completely unnatural. As he takes a moment to process what happened, an object sitting on the kitchen table, what appeared to be a salt shaker, suddenly shoots straight up into the air, hitting the ceiling before crashing back down. The man can be heard gasping in shock, barely processing what he's just seen, but before he can even react properly, the chair at the same table begins to slide across the surface, moving directly toward him as if being pushed by invisible hands. He immediately cuts the recording after this, and later admitted that it was the moment he realized whatever was inside his house wasn't just trying to get his attention, but possibly trying to intimidate him. Blackwing96, an online creator who's spoken before about his house being haunted, finally decided to try and capture proof of the activity he's lived with for years. One evening, after hearing strange noises coming from his bedroom, he grabbed his phone and began to record, determined to see what was happening.
Hey guys, it's Blackwing96, and I've been hearing some bumping noises upstairs, like right where my room is. I'm just gonna take a look at. Come on. Okay. Really. What the f was that? You guys hear that, right? Okay. That bottle of Windex was right here. I left it there this morning. It was right there. My room's kind of messy right now because blizzards and such shit like that. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Oh, can you do that again?
The video shows him slowly approaching the door, pausing as faint sounds come from inside. When he walks in, his camera focuses on the desk in the corner, just as a mug slides a few inches on its own. Clearly startled, Blackwing 96 can be heard nervously laughing and asking it to do it again. Almost as if responding, the mug shifts once more, this time pushing all the way off the desk and smashing to the floor. His voice cracks in disbelief as he backs away, realizing that whatever presence he's been sharing the house with is more responsive and more real than he ever wanted it to be. A woman visiting her sister in the hospital swore she caught something strange out of the corner of her eye and decided to go looking for proof. With her phone in hand, she began walking through the dimly lit halls, recording as she went.
¿Otra vez están escuchando? ¿Muchos ruidos? Oigan, ¿de dónde viene ese ruido? Se escucha como que gritaran, como si hablaran. No es nadie. Se escucha que grita. Creo que es de acá. Oiga, hay veces que se oyen las sillas de ruedas, que caminan, que hablan. ¿Qué podrá ser? Ay, ¿qué podrá ser? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es eso? ¡Ay, no! Ahora sí, mire algo. No puede ser. No puede ser, ¿escucharon? Ahora sí sentí que alguien me tocó de verdad. Tengo que ir. No abre el pinche elevador. Les había dicho que se escucha mucho ruido. Voy a tener que ir por mi hija. ¡Abre! No abre. No está abriendo el elevador.
At first, everything seemed ordinary, but then a wooden shelf inside one of the side rooms suddenly slid across the floor entirely on its own, sending her into a panic. She immediately bolted for the nearest elevator, but on the way she yelped, saying she felt something brush against her arm, even though no one was around. The camera shakes as she stumbles, clearly terrified, before she finally makes it into the elevator and out of the ward. The footage has since left people convinced the hospital holds more than just patients inside its walls. That same night after escaping the hospital, she went straight home and crawled into bed, hoping the unsettling events were behind her. But just a few hours later, she was jolted awake by strange noises echoing through the house. Grabbing her phone once again, she went downstairs to investigate.
No mames. No sé si pueden escuchar. El bote de la basura. Y el pinche bote de la basura se abre y se cierra solo. Aquí se... Oye, ¿qué podrá ser? No mames. ¿Qué ching? Oh, ¿qué es? ¿Qué chingados es? ¡Ay! Se escucha. ¡Ay, no mames! ¿Qué es eso? El pinche bote de basura se está abriendo y cerrando solo. chingados está haciendo eso?
The recording shows her carefully walking through the dark rooms, whispering as she tried to trace the source of the sound. It seemed to grow louder the closer she got to the bathroom, until finally she reached the bathroom where the trash can was, and it began opening and closing on its own, over and over, as if something inside was taunting her. Her breathing quickened, and she backed away in fear. She later admitted that after this moment, she began looking into buying a new home, convinced that whatever had followed her back from the hospital was not going to leave anytime soon. Sydney was home alone, her husband at work, and her baby peacefully napping in his crib. She decided to record a clip, capturing the chandelier swaying slightly above her and faint, unsettling noises in the background, as if someone were moving around upstairs.
Y'all, something really creepy is happening right now. My husband's at work, I'm the only one home, and listen. It sounds like someone is upstairs walking around. Okay, I'm actually freaking out because I just heard something drop upstairs, like on my ceiling. Hang on. Okay, I turned the video off because I'm actually really freaked out. That baby monitor that you saw laying on the ground is normally attached to the wall. My son isn't crawling, walking, pulling himself up, anything like that yet. So there's no way he could have done that. So now what do I do? All right, we're literally leaving the house. We're leaving the house.
The sounds grew louder until a sudden bang echoed from the upper floor. She cautiously went upstairs, only to find her son napping safely. However, the baby monitor, which was usually firmly screwed to the wall and far out of his reach, had somehow been dislodged and was lying on the floor. Confused and unnerved, Sydney decided to leave the house for a while, needing space to process the strange and inexplicable events she had just witnessed. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is no stranger to abandoned places, always drawn to the thrill of exploring historic and reportedly haunted sites. On this night, he decided to investigate an old, abandoned theater that had long been rumored to have paranormal activity. The air smelled of dust and decay, and cobwebs hung from the rafters, but nothing had seemed out of place, until he spotted a faint, eerie mist drifting across the stage. Feeling both curious and cautious, he grabbed his camera and started recording.
Let me see if I can catch any on video. I know this is going to sound weird, being that I'm by myself, but I feel like I'm in a full house right now. There's so much energy in the air, I could just feel it. It's unbelievable. Oh my God! No way did all these lights just turn on. What the fuck? Guys, I feel like I'm about to lose my freaking shit. If you just turn the lights on, could you shut them off? This theater is coming to life before my very eyes. This whole place is just alive right now. Could you please shut the lights off? Whoever turned them on, could you shut them off? I don't even know what to say, guys. I am utterly speechless right now. I'm just taking this all in. Amazing. Truly amazing. Holy crap. I'm the only one here. And I mean, unless there's like some...
Suddenly, all the lights in the theater turned on at once, illuminating the dusty interior in a harsh glare. Ian, speaking into the camera, asked the ghost to turn them off again, but nothing changed. The lights remained stubbornly on. Despite the playful attempt to communicate, the ghost refused to comply, leaving Ian visibly frustrated and spooked as the clip ends, teasing more discoveries to come in future explorations, so subscribe. Chris had no doubt his house was haunted after the chilling evidence he caught in a previous video, where a voice had clearly told him to get out. Determined to keep documenting, he began filming again, talking about that experience and how it had changed the way he felt about being in his own home.
You can hear that, can't you? I can. Sound like tapping. Everybody's like, oh, it's the hutch. It's the hutch.
While he was speaking, faint tapping noises began echoing around him. They were well and truly impossible to ignore. Then it happened again. The same unmistakable voice commanding him to get out. Before Chris could even react, something nearby toppled over loudly, cutting through the silence and sending him into panic. In the aftermath of the video, Chris admitted he was more unnerved than ever, convinced the spirit wasn't just trying to make itself known, but actively warning him. He's now torn between continuing to capture proof or taking the voice's message seriously and leaving for good. Martio was spending a quiet evening in his bedroom, his cats curled up beside him, when he suddenly began hearing the sound of things falling somewhere else in the house. At first, he ignored it, hoping it was nothing more than the cats knocking something over earlier, but the noises continued and grew harder to dismiss. After about 20 seconds, he decided to grab his camera and leave the bedroom to see what was happening. As he reached the kitchen, the mess was obvious, as several cups were already scattered across the floor. Just as he was taking it all in, another blue cup fell, though the camera didn't manage to catch it hitting the ground. Marcio could be heard exhaling sharply, clearly shaken by the realization that something unseen was causing the chaos. In the aftermath, he explained that he had no open windows, no pets in the kitchen, and no explanation for why multiple cups would all topple at once. He admitted that he no longer felt safe walking into that room alone and was considering setting up cameras overnight to see what else might happen when he wasn't there to witness it. On May 1st, 2020, at roughly 4:30 in the afternoon, a family's quiet day took a strange turn when their home security cameras caught something they couldn't explain. The family had installed CCTV months earlier, mainly as a precaution after a few break-ins were reported in their neighborhood. For the most part, the cameras never recorded anything out of the ordinary, just kids playing outside, the dog wandering around, or the usual comings and goings of daily life. That is why what they found on this particular recording was so disturbing. In the footage, one of the interior doors slowly swings open on its own, revealing nothing on the other side. There is no person, no pet, and no sign of anyone who could have pushed or pulled it. The incident left the family deeply unsettled. They combed through every second of the recording before and after the event, hoping to find a clue that might explain what happened, but the area behind the door remained empty the entire time. They even checked the hinges and the frame, thinking maybe a draft or uneven flooring could have caused the door to move, but everything was sturdy and intact. Neighbors who saw the clip were just as spooked, pointing out how unnaturally slow and deliberate the movement looked. Since then, the family admitted they no longer feel the same comfort in their own home, describing the experience as a reminder that sometimes the strangest things happen in broad daylight when you least expect it. C's Crazy Crossroads is a YouTube channel run by a ghost hunter with over 50,000 subscribers, known for exploring terrifying locations on his own and sharing the results with his growing audience. In one particular video, he ventured into what's become known locally as the contractor's haunted house, a place so notorious that even seasoned investigators hesitate to step inside. According to him, the energy in the building was overwhelming the moment he entered, like the walls themselves carried a heavy weight of history.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking. Oh, what the holy... That was up here in the closet. That was right here. That ball. How did it... Holy shit. How the... Alright, where am I at? Because I'm not making it. I'm getting the hell out of here. This is not fun. I'm freaking out now because it seems like it's toying with me. Oh man, I'm only at 15 minutes. Oh boy. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna leave you there, ball. Don't mess with me. Alright, so there's nobody obviously in this room. There's nobody in this room. Guys, there's nothing in this house other than whatever friggin' spirit Nothing in this room.
While filming, a sudden dropping noise caught his attention. He spun around quickly and captured a basketball rolling across the floor, seemingly without any explanation. To make things even stranger, he then walked into the next room and showed viewers the closet where the ball had originally been stored. To ensure transparency, he also panned across the surrounding rooms to prove they were completely empty, ruling out the possibility of someone hiding. The video left many of his fans convinced that he had captured real paranormal activity. C himself admitted afterward that it was one of the most intense solo hunts he had ever done, and the basketball incident was only the beginning of the unsettling things he experienced there. So subscribe so you don't miss the future ones. Tim Morozov is a ghost hunter with an impressive following of 648,000 subscribers, known for diving headfirst into some of the most unsettling places with very little hesitation. His channel has built a reputation on raw, uncut footage that leaves little room for doubt, and his subscribers love him for it. In one of his more intense uploads, he wrote in the description, "This time, I'm examining the damn house with a poltergeist. This is a terrible night." That set the tone perfectly for what was to come.
Пока никаких показаний нету. Черт возьми, а где он стоял? Ничего нет, никаких показаний.
As Tim walked carefully through the dark house with his motion detector in hand, a sudden crash echoed through the silence. A piece of pottery had been hurled to the floor. Clearly shaken but still curious, he moved toward the room where the sound came from. The shattered pottery lay scattered on the ground, and Tim decided to test his device, pressing the motion detector directly against it. Strangely, the device didn't beep at all, suggesting that no living presence had caused the violent act. Tracy and her family had long accepted that their house was haunted, but unlike most, they believed they knew the exact source. It all centered around an antique cabinet, a piece passed down from Tracy's late grandmother. While beautiful and valuable, it carried an unsettling presence. Over time, it became clear that whenever strange activity happened in the home, the cabinet was at the center of it, with drawers opening on their own, noises echoing from it, and even sudden cold spots around where it stood. Determined to prove it,
several buildings set alight, really the worst violence that this city has seen for several months. But now it looks like it has calmed for the time being, although you can never discount that the demonstrators are not regrouping in other parts of the city ready to come back. All the while, of course, the debate rages on inside Parliament, the MPs continuing to debate with pretty high tempers, really, over this barrage of austerity and cuts which is to come in this country in return to those all vital bailout funds. We're expecting the vote on the package to come at 1 a.m. local time, that's 2300 GMT, but this is a place where deadlines come and go with remarkable speed, so I wouldn't hold your breath just yet, Fiona.
We had a demonstrator on the telephone earlier saying to us that we're showing these pictures of the violent protesters and sort of concentrating on that. She wanted to make the point that...
As she filmed, one of the cabinet's drawers slowly slid open by itself, and moments later, the drawer next to it followed suit. To dismiss any claims of trickery, she circled the cabinet with her camera, showing there was nobody behind it and no strings or wires attached. For the family, this was the confirmation they needed. They had already been talking about letting the cabinet go, but given its age and value, they didn't want to simply throw it out. Instead, they've been searching for someone willing to buy it, hoping that parting with the cabinet will bring peace to their home once and for all. Until then, the cabinet remains in their possession, and with it, the unsettling activity continues. Diane had lived in her house for years without issue, but lately she had been feeling watched, especially at night. One evening, she noticed what looked like a human shadow lingering outside her front door. Heart racing, she rushed to check, but when she opened the door, the porch was completely empty. Uneasy, she returned inside and decided to film in case it happened again.
There's literally...
Pointing the camera toward the door's frosted window, the blurred outline of a figure could clearly be seen with broad shoulders, a tall stance, and even what looked like a hat perched on its head. Gathering her courage, Diane swung the door open, but once again, there was no one there. The quiet night air was still, leaving her with more questions than answers. Convinced this was something beyond normal explanation, Diane shared the video, and many agreed it had to be paranormal. She admitted afterward that she couldn't shake the image from her mind and feared the figure might return. And the strangest part is that she feels like this might only be the beginning.
Now let's get to the Ring cameras. We have Ring cameras and cameras all around the property and in every room of the house except for our bathrooms. This is what the Ring camera shows when I walked outside, which was 9:50 at night. You'll see the timestamp in just a second. Had we deleted the video, it would not be there. It just doesn't load. We have had this issue with our Ring camera before, but then why did it catch the video after? In case you didn't see, the video after is at 10:23 at night. I initially recorded the video and sent it on Snapchat to my 8 best friends, and then Eddie, and then Joe's actually the one that was like, bro, you need to post this. And I was like, I don't know how Jared would feel about it. Now I'm gonna get into the layout of our home and where it happened and explain why certain things wouldn't work. This is the hallway during the day with maximum light. To show the lights behind me, that is gonna be our hallway to our pantry and our bathroom. This is during the daylight, so when the light would be at maximum, as well as our kitchen, maximum light as well. How long the hallway is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are big 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe. To the front door. I was zoomed in and walking fast. The front of our house where somebody would be. For them to run, where would they have to hide? It goes straight out, guts out. This way, another commercial building, it juts out. They would also have to jump down into this drop of a fence and go that way. All out front, the most someone could have done would have maybe been behind a tree, but we would still have got that on the Ring camera. Also, another Ring camera that would have caught somebody too. To debunk this, I think that the best comment I got in the comments was maybe it was somebody across the street and say someone was in the parking lot and lights were shining on them onto our door. Now that's a big light being shown. I also didn't see anybody, but that to me is the most probable cause. Now let's get to the coat rack to show why that wouldn't work. To those of you saying, oh, the coat rack's reflecting. From what light in here, at any point, you're not able to shine light on the coat rack because our walls are too deep. The coat rack is hidden in the corner. Light cannot shine on the coat rack onto the window because there are no lights here, and these lights do not reach. Too far, too dim, no light in here reaches the coat rack. It is not the coat rack, but I get why y'all would think that, because there are hats on the coat rack. Now, to those of you who think that we did it, which I can literally assure you we did not, this is gonna be the angle from the living room where you can see that side of the door. Someone's like, oh, they're shining from in there. Well, first we'd have to be on our couch, but look at the way the reflection would be. So if I'm right here and say I'm doing this, it's still not gonna reflect accurately onto the window. It's gonna go beneath, and then you're gonna have a line from the couch. It would have to be like a spotlight. So again, the lighting doesn't work. And please don't start with the staircase, because our staircase, our ceilings are like 14-foot ceilings. It would not shine down like that without there being a reflection on the floor. I think that's everything, and I really hope this video doesn't feel rushed. I'm just in the middle of my work day, and I was like, let me go ahead and try to show everyone why this doesn't work. Comment in the comments what else you want to see, if there's anything else you want me to debunk. I still don't know what I saw, okay? A lot of you asked for the house history, house tour. The house history is fascinating. Y'all just comment what y'all want to see.
The house Jessica explored looked more like a skeleton than a home, as every wall was stripped down to wood. No furniture, no wallpaper, nothing but exposed beams and empty space, like a human without the flesh. Renovators had started work there weeks before, but after a series of unexplained incidents, they stopped altogether and put the place up for sale. This is what encouraged Jessica to visit, so have a look.
What was that? Nobody here. I hope it was just a draft, because you see, there is no wall. My God. I hope there is no ghost. Guys, what do you think?
Jessica's footage shows her cautiously walking through the silent rooms, her shoes creaking against the bare floors. The emptiness of the house was unsettling enough, but what happened next made it worse. As she stepped into what used to be the living room, the door behind her slammed shut, the sound echoing through the entire space. She jumped, turned immediately, and opened it again, revealing nothing but the usual neighborhood. Jessica walked outside for a moment, trying to convince herself it was just the wind, but everything was still. Nobody was near the door, no breeze, no movement. She hesitated, then went back inside, whispering that she hoped there weren't any ghosts. But her tone said otherwise. Even through the camera, the house felt off. The atmosphere was heavy, as if the walls themselves were watching. Whatever drove the renovation team away, Jessica might have just met it herself.